First of all, again, a huge congratulations to each and every one who took part in HackX. So we are really excited about the kind of response that we got, the loving response. HackX got over 10,000 plus registrations, and we are super happy to see the response. Everyone who participated, and everyone is super active on Twitter and all the different kinds of social as well, talking about the event. So we really just want to thank each and every one of you who is watching live and who also took part in HackX. And today, of course, is sort of the finale. We had a great 2 days worth of event. We officially started out last week with a few different sessions. So we covered things like introduction to web development by Praveen, and then we had a panel discussion. We had a separate session on containers by Gaurav. So I hope everyone also did like those. And of course, after that, we had the event itself on Saturday and Sunday. So the event started at 10 a.m. on Saturday, that is 9th of October, and it concluded at 1 p.m. Yesterday on Sunday, that is the 10th of October. And we got some really great presentations and great projects that all of you built, and it's really great to see people from different kinds of experience levels coming in. Some of the participants were high school students with no programming experience at all. Then we also had some participants who were fully working professionals. So it was really great to see the kind of diversity that the hackathon really embodied, and that is really what is the main essence of a hackathon. That hackathons are all about collaboration, about diversity, and being able to build things and actually also learn at the same time. So again, a huge shout out to all participants who took part and made such amazing projects in the four different themes that we had. So the main four themes that we had were basically education, healthcare, finance, and also entertainment. And we received some really great projects in all these four different themes. And of course, I mean, when we were evaluating all the projects it actually made our jobs really hard, because all the different projects were really great. So being able to find out which were the better ones was something that was truly difficult for us. But of course, all of you have been waiting for this time. That is why it's the finale. And of course, let me just quickly also share my screen to give a shout out to a few other different things, including our career partners. So I'll just quickly share my screen. All right. So again, first of all, thank you so much to everyone who registered for HackX. Also, special shout out to our career partners. That includes Z, Dunzo, MPL, ABM Knowledgeware, and Akamai, for providing their inputs as well. Because of course, when you have such kind of amazing career partners, it just makes the overall event and how the event comes out to be even better. And of course, also huge thanks to all the different mentors who came on board. So we had more than 50 mentors from various companies with varying level of experiences, from companies like Google, Samsung, etc., who gave their time during the course of the past 2 days, and really motivated the hackers who were taking part in the contest. So a really huge shout out to the mentors as well for taking out their time from their busy schedules on Saturday and Sunday, and actually being able to help out the students. The overall response by the students on Discord was really great. So again, a huge shout out to the mentors, and also all the people who are actually helping out each other during the hackathon, because again, hackathons are all about collaboration, right? And of course, as I just mentioned, the projects that all of you submitted, it made actually selecting the top teams and the best projects really hard. But again, the main idea behind hackathons is that hackathons, like, yeah, I mean, we have these top 3, top 50 teams, right? But in a sense, each and every one of you is a winner at a hackathon, because hackathons are not really about the competition, but a lot more about the kind of projects that all of you build, right? So that is what really matters more than the actual winning. So all of you are winners in your own right, because all of you were able to build some good projects. You were able to learn about new technologies, you were able to collaborate, you were able to network with people. So that is a win in itself. So always treat hackathons as a more sort of a learning journey, as right as compared to, let's say, just like out like sort of an outright competition. So with that in mind, of course, I'll not be wasting a lot of time for all of you. We had a lot of different you know categories of prizes that we had for all of you. That includes the top three prize winners that receive prizes worth 30,000, 15,000, and 7,500 for the top three, and for places 4 to 10, they receive each team receives 3,000 rupees worth of Amazon vouchers. Then from teams that are in the top 50 from 11th to 20th, they receive really cool goodie hampers, and the teams from 21st to 50 receive t-shirts from Scalar. And apart from that, we also do have some special category prizes that includes the best Jugaad hack, then best beginner project, best individual performance as a lone wolf, best all team, all female team, and also the best innovative idea. So right now, the thing that I'm going to be announcing is basically the prize winners from the 11th position till the 50th position, and also the prize winners for the 5 special reward categories that we're going to be sharing with all of you. The top 10 is going to be a surprise, and that is what we're going to be having today in the live session. So in no particular order, this is the top 50 teams that actually we'll be also making this Notion link live. I will be also sharing it on Discord. So feel free to have a look at that. But of course, first talking about the special prize winners. So first, let's talk about the best individual performance. So the team name was mm_16. So congratulations, your project was built under the health track, and again, a really great and inspiring project. And the winning prize is a VR headset. Now, for the best all-female team, the team name was Captain Denver. Again, the track in which the project was built was the health track, and they get each and every member of the team gets an American tourister backpack. Then, for the most innovative idea, the team name was Abhiyoini, and that belongs to the entertainment track, and they get a prize of Amazon Echo Dot for each of the winners of each of the team members. Then, for the best beginner hack, we had Programmer, again from the entertainment track, and they are going to be receiving both speakers. And finally, for the best Jugaad project, the team name was for the winner was Mint_money, and they again were from the education track, and they are going to be getting both air dopes. And now coming to basically the top of 40 teams, we are going to be talking about all of them. So starting from the 11th position till the 50th position, again, first of all, a huge congratulations to each one of the team members. All of you are going to be receiving from 11th to 20th, you'll be receiving goodie hampers. And again, it is really good to see people building different projects in belonging to different tracks as well. So we got a really healthy balance between projects from all the different types of tracks. And again, the projects were all sort of socially relevant as well. And that is what was really inspiring to for us to see that all the projects that were built were made with an idea in mind, with something that can actually help solve some kind of a social issue, or something that was actually just blew up our mind. So huge congratulations to the teams Rectify, All Stars, Keys, Infinity, Debug Thugs, Team Thunderbird, the Bazooka, Necromancer, team Tech Fighters, Team 007 for being in the top 20, and of course all the teams after that. So we'll be sharing this link for the Notion in the Discord as well. So if you are one of the winners, huge congratulations to all of you. But again, as I just mentioned before this, that for us, these 50 are just not really the most accurate representation, because each one of the projects that was there was really great in itself, and all of you are a winner. And of course, I mean, those were some of the things. And of course, we'll be also announcing a few of the projects that will be officially adopted by the Scalar open source team, and will be mentored by the Scalar open source team as well. So huge congratulations to each one of you who have participated, and also have won in different kinds of projects as well. So yeah, I mean, with that, I think now what we're going to be doing is I'll finally like to also invite all our amazing jury members whom like will be evaluating the performance of the top 10 teams, and we'll be doing live judging with our panelists. So I'll be more than happy to now invite them one by one. So today we are joined by some really great folks from Scalar who have a lot of experience. So we have with us Mudit Goel, who currently is the head of product and strategy head at Scalar, and he is also founder at Coding Element. So like a huge shout out to Mudit. Thank you so much for joining the panel. And next we have Arnav Jindal, who is currently a product manager at Scalar, and he has also worked previously with companies like CureFit. So thank you so much, Arnav, for joining in. And then we have Naman Bhalla, who is currently one of the vertical leads at Scalar. He is an ex software engineer at Google. And so, again, thank you so much, Naman. And finally, we have Arnav Gupta, whom a lot of you might already be knowing. He currently is also leading the product and strategy at Scalar, and he has worked previously with companies like Zomato and Target. So we are just waiting for Arnav to join in a bit. But of course, right now we have a lot of amazing things happening. So make sure that all of you are ready to go through all the amazing projects that we have curated for this for teams 1 to 10. We'll be inviting over one team at a time who will be presenting their project in front of our panelists, and they'll be judging. So yeah, I mean, I hope everyone is super excited and everyone definitely had a great time. But before we move on to the individual performances from the top 10, would all the panelists would like to just share something about their experiences with hackathons, and like why do you feel hackathons are a really great way for students and also for working professionals to actually take part in? So probably we can start off with Mudit, with you first.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Shivai, for giving us this opportunity to interact with all of the teams, and very excited and looking forward to the rest of the 1.5, 2 hours. In my experience, I think in hackathon, like I personally just love when the product shows some commitment towards solving any given problem. So as opposed to trying to solve multiple problems at the same time, if I just see like a good focus and be able to solve that problem very well, that is something that I think just stands out for me.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, Madit. And would also love to know your viewpoint, Arnav. I think you can go next.
Definitely. So, firstly, thank you so much for the welcome and hi everybody. So, my perspective on hackathon. So, you see, whenever you are making a product, you generally have to put it out in the market to see whether it works or not. But hackathons provide a great platform where you can innovate on stuff and actually get feedback from great individuals in the field. And while the product might not make sense in the current scenario in the market, but you still get to experiment with whatever you can think of, whatever you can make, and get some credible feedback on it. So I think from that perspective, hackathons have been great. All hackathons are really really interesting that way.
Yep, absolutely makes sense. And Naman would also love to know about your feedback about hackathons.
Correct. I would just like to reiterate what Mudit and Arnav had mentioned already. So hackathons provide a very great opportunity for you to basically just have a lot of enthusiasm and go ahead and build something that you have always been exciting about. It also often gives you an opportunity to tinker around with new technology, learn new skills, etc., and getting feedback from people who know what products can be successful, etc. I have seen multiple people who started their startup ideas via hackathon and eventually ended up doing great. So yeah, it's a very great place to introduce to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And just one thing that I'll probably just want to request to everyone is that whatever projects that you built during the hackathon or whatever learnings that you made during the hackathon, try to probably build on top of the projects, because a lot of time what happens is that you might take part in a hackathon and then just forget about the project that you built. So just if you get time, try to take out some time, because what that will result is in that you'll be able to build a much more better project, because you have gotten that head start by taking part in the hackathon, and you can further develop your skills and make really meaningful projects. And as like Naman said, that a lot of these project ideas usually actually start off as hackathons. A lot of companies, they conduct internal hackathons, for deriving new project ideas that can be actually built. So Microsoft Teams is actually one of those kind of examples that was actually started out originally as like a hackathon idea within one of the internal hackathons that was conducted in Microsoft. So similarly, you can just make really great projects. And of course, the best way to sort of be able to utilize those kind of learnings is by the kind of network that you also form while you join these hackathons, because as we had all the amazing mentors who were part of the hackathon, and then we had the career partners. So all of this directly gives you an ability to have one-to-one conversations with all these different people, all from different companies. And you definitely cannot get those kind of experiences, at least when you're working or you're in college. So make the most out of these hackathons and the kind of learnings that all of you have had. Yeah, and again, make sure to give a social shout out to the different kind of learnings that you had during the hackathon. We'll be more than happy to look and sort of get to know what were the different kind of new technologies, new project ideas, or new kind of implementations that all of you did. A lot of you were having some difficulties before the start of the hackathon with respect to being able to, let's say, implement like projects on GitHub. So I hope that at least each one of you had learned something. Some of you learned the basics of hosting a project on GitHub. Some of you might have learned how to integrate an API, how to like start off with the basics of React or Flask. So like hackathons are truly a great way to learn new technologies and explore new avenues within within programming, or even outside of programming as well, because you're not just limited to programming. You are doing a lot of other things as well, including like team management. You might be making presentations, you might be pitching your ideas. So all of this is sort of helping you develop and sort of holistic skills, not just technical skills that you might be doing while working. So yeah, I mean, those are some of the things that I hope everyone enjoyed. And hopefully the next hackathon that we'll be having at Scalar will be a huge in-person event, of course, as a lot of in-person events are sort of returning. So we are sort of really excited for also conducting a lot of in-person events as well. So also stay tuned for that. But yeah, I guess we'll just quickly just wait for Arnav to join in. But yeah, I mean, before that, Mudit, Naman, or Arnav, like if you want to also just share something else from your previous experiences, that because a lot of the members who like sort of who are watching the YouTube live right now are students. So if you have some tips for students specifically who are right now in their careers.
Yeah, sure. So I think Arnav had mentioned a great point around getting feedback from the actual customers, people who are going to be using your product. So although like in the hackathon, you might not have got a chance to get feedback directly from the users, uh, perhaps after this hackathon, regardless of what the decisions are, if you start getting more feedback from your actual users, you actually see them, how they're using your product. And based on that, just keep making iterations, keep improving your product. Chances are that the product will evolve enough that it might, in fact, become a very different product than what you might be presenting today. And it might just become even more relevant and even more useful for the target users. Right. So if someone's not already looked at the lean startup principles, I think that would be a great place for you to start. Just what this is like, just adding to like what Arnav had already mentioned. So handing over back to Arnav if you want to maybe add something, or Naman, you.
Sure. So I think one thing that Shivai mentioned, a very interesting thing, was soft skills. So while we're developing products, it's really fun to think of the back end side of things. But when you're actually going ahead and selling something, there's a lot of soft skills that are involved, right? You need to know how to talk to a customer, how to sell something, how to present something. All those things become very, very interesting and important. So I think hackathons present a way, provide a platform to actually do that. So that's really, really cool. Second, I think right now hackathons have become a really interesting place for startups to get feedback, and then, as I think Mudit already mentioned, iterate upon them and improve. So many communities you will see nowadays, what they have is basically hack days, where people come in, demonstrate their product. Many enthusiasts or even VC guys turn up. They look at the products, and people end up getting either funded or mentors, or even in some cases customers. I became a customer of a few products this way. So hackathons have become really, really interesting and exciting nowadays. So as much as you can, do explore hackathons.
Yeah, I absolutely agree because hackathons are really for everyone. It's not just for for beginners or for students. Like even a lot of companies host internal hackathons, as I mentioned. But Naman would also want to know your views on this.
Definitely. So, whenever I talk with a few of my friends working at startups, they do mention about the internal hackathons that are going on there. I also recall from my previous experiences how a project that was built on a startup can actually be one of the core products of a company multiple years down the line. So, regardless of how small you start with, as Shivan mentioned, it is very important to build over it in future, right? It is just a stepping stone. It is an innovative idea most probably, and even if it is not, it can be refined to one. Uh, think more over the product that you have built, interact with your users, interact with your potential users, family, relatives, etc., and see what they think about it, see how they use it. Very often, if you spend some time over it, in a hackathon duration, you don't really get some time to spend over business side of the things. If you later on go and do some user research, think what people are thinking of it, you might go up and you might end up doing some iterations there and building a product that can be one of the famous startups in future. So yeah, don't stop where you are. Do try to iterate over it. Do try to bring it to the people and see what they say about it.
Yep, makes absolute sense. And yeah, I mean, with that in perspective, I hope that at least all those who are also watching this live can even sort of learn from the live demonstrations that we're going to be having. You can look at how like how to actually pitch your project to a jury, and of course, if you're taking part in some in-person hackathons, this will definitely be something to keep note of. But of course, apart from that, we also just want to like just on a fun note, would love to know about your personal experiences at hackathons. If any one of you have some, if anyone of you have had some unique experiences at hackathons while participating at hackathons.
Yeah, you're putting us on spot, but I have participated. Going back to like Naman's point, that like startups and even large companies, they do organize hackathons internally. So I have participated in the hackathons at both of my previous employers, LinkedIn, as well as Intuit. Although I did end up winning in both, but I think there's also a skill of winning hackathons, and that might have to do more with it. Uh, but I think passing on to Arnav and Naman to learn about their hackathon experiences.
Yeah, sure. So I participated in Smart India Hackathon that is organized by the government of India. So what happened was we created, we had an entire day to create a prototype, and that was a great prototype. It actually worked. There was something that actually worked, and it was all genuine. And when the jury was, going table to table checking the projects, just two tables away from my table, while the jury was there, my project stopped working because one of the members updated a Python library, and that, how you feel. You put in 1 day's effort, and everything goes to hell just because one guy updated a library innocently. What do you do in that time, right? I had to sit there with all the four members. We were trying to do some jugaad, somehow making things work or even faking things. And just 2 minutes before the jury member came over, I don't know what I did, but it somehow started working. And that was, the closest experience I've had, like life and death situation that was there, because we won the hackathon actually. Otherwise, we would have lost definitely. So this was a very interesting experience that I had, and I do cherish that experience. That tells me how we should perform under pressure. So it was a great learning experience.
Yeah, so I also remember one of the experiences of a hackathon during my university days. So Alibaba Cloud had just came into India those days, and they had conducted a hackathon related to data science, ML, etc. At least during those days, data science and ML used to be very cool words, right? That if you're doing data science ML, you are kind of very famous in the university, etc. So very similar experience. It was like a one I think like 6 to 8 hours hackathon, not as big as this one, but the aim was to come up with the best machine learning model that does something. And as Arnav mentioned, I don't know what our team did. Our team basically divided ourselves into 4 different people doing random things. And being very honest, the solution that we implemented was just combining the answers of each of those four, and somehow we ended up winning that. So yeah, but an interesting experience that kind of led to the foundation of me delving into ML, data science, etc. later. So yeah, nice experience.
And we finally have Arnav as well. Arnav, if you have had some like quirky experiences at hackathons.
Yeah, yeah. So I think one experience that I had, I mean, because you said quirky, I think I can go with one. It's probably very scandalous one. I'm not sure if we should share before the judgment happens with everybody. So there was this one time we were making this product for detecting fake food products using machine learning. So you take a photo of a fake Maggie packet and it'll tell you that it's not a real Maggie packet, it's a fake Maggie packet, something like that. So we had cloned some data set which was trained on a lot of US based products like say things like Pringles and US brands which don't sell a lot in India. So we tried it out on some products. We tried it would work. Like we had a Clorox versus a fake sanitizer. So we would, open the camera and show that this one is real, this one is fake. But we had to demonstrate that in front of the judge, and we thought there weren't enough Indian products on which it would actually work. So we went to supermarket, bought some products, and after trying a lot, we figured that in reality this is not going to work. Although we had a demo on the laptop which was working on some sample data sets. So in the last 1 hour of the hackathon, we made another app and we connected both the apps using Firebase using a real-time connection. And the second app was with a team member who was not on stage demonstrating it. He was standing niche, and we would just hold the mobile, the screen, and hold it in front of the product. And somebody who's not on the stage outside would press on fake or real somewhere else, and by the real-time connection, it would say fake or real on the phone. We completely faked the actual product during the demo. Although we wrote code to detect it, but it did not work with the products. And we won that hackathon.
I mean, like those kind of hacks is something that you probably might have to, because a lot of times it's understandable that we cannot really build end-to-end projects during the course of the hackathon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think now, since we have all the jury members, we can probably start off with the actual judging. So from the top 10 teams, the first one to join is team Om Londe. So we'll like to invite them over on the call.
So hello everyone and welcome to my presentation. Good evening. My name is Om Londe and I am presenting this project to you. The name of the project is Indian Unique Medical Card, and this is a implementation of health theme, and this is meant to be used by the government of India so that they can simplify and centralize the medical procedures. So this is the homepage of that application, the landing page, and I have given this 3D parallax effect up here by using the images, and this is the entry section from where you can enter your email ID. If it exists, then you will be able to log in to this platform and go to your dashboard. If it is not, then you can click this register button to go to the registration section. We will see that later. This is the wavy tagline section. I call it as wavy tagline section because here is the name of the project and the tagline, the initiative to centralize the countrywide medical data. These are the goals. The first is to simplify the process of health checkups. Second is to provide a centralized platform for anything related to medical field. Third is to make it easy for doctors to get information about their patients. And the fourth is to keep track about each person's health and health expenditure. And this is the footer where you can see my socials and also a copyright line. And it is developed in Next.js. So I wrote that developed with love by Om Londe using Next.js. So let's go to register section. So you can click this button, get started button to go to register section, or you can click this register button as well. So I'm clicking this register button and I will be redirected to this section. The animation that you just saw was driven by using a library called as Framer Motion, which is a React library. This is a page where you can see all the information which you have to enter to register as a user. The profile picture is necessary. It is an image to identify you at hospitals. You can enter your name, your phone number, your email address, your address, and you can select if you are a normal user or a doctor. The doctor could be verified by their license if the administrative panel or the panel for the government authorities is implemented, but it is not currently implemented because I want to do this project in 24 hours and it was not possible to implement that type of authentication and verification system. So as I have already logged in this platform, I'm already registered, so I can go back. Even if I want to fill this form, I can fill this form and submit the button, but my account already exists, so my data will not be written again in the database, but my dashboard will be visible to me without writing my data. But I want to log into that platform, and so I can go back and enter my email id, which is oplonbhe@gmail.com, and I click this button to get an email from Firebase. The email authentication is implemented by using Firebase, and if I refresh here in my email, then I will receive this email. After clicking the link in this email, I will be redirected to this link where I am verified by my email, and my information is saved into the local system, the cache of the browser using the local storage and all those IndexDB and those things. And then I am able to see my profile. So this is my dashboard. This is the image which I have previously uploaded for this platform. This is my name which I have already entered. This is my mobile number, my email address, my permanent address. And as I am registered as a doctor, so I am able to see this button, go to doctor's panel. If you are registered as a normal user, you will not see this button. So this is my health data which I have entered as a test data, and this data is entered by the one who was testing this application when I submitted it. This is the total expenditure, the fees that I gave to doctor. This is the medicine fees, and this is the total sum of all those fees which I spent till now. This is a donut graph or donut chart which you can see. It is all those charts, all these four charts are implemented by using a library called a chart.js, and it will show you everything about which disease you was prone to, or which health issue you was prone to, and how much you spent on that disease in total by adding the doctor's fees and medicine fees. So this is all about the dashboard section. So let's go to the doctor's panel. As I'm doctor, I can check up the other users and search for those users, and also I can copy this IUMC id if I want to copy and share it to my doctor. So let's go to doctor panel. In the doctor panel, you can see a search bar, a button to go back to home. Here you can search by ID, the IUMC ID, which is Indian Unique Medical Card ID, the name, the email, or the phone number. So here I have ID which I copied. This ID is of Shivai Bhaiya. So I am pasting this ID here, and the filter functionality works properly. If I go to his profile and see his profile, I will be able to see his health data. But as he did not have any health checkups on this platform or not data on this platform, so his health data is not available. But suppose if I'm a doctor and Shiva Bhaiya came to me and asked for checkup, and I checked him up and found that he has a cold, so I enter a cold, and then I took fees of 50 rupees, and the medicine cost was about 120 rupees. And if I update this information, the page will reload, the page will fetch the data, and you can see that issue was cold and was tested on 11/10/2021, that is today at 7:11 15 seconds PM, that is this current time. And you can see this graph, As the health data entered here is only for one disease, the graph is only shown for that particular disease. But if I want to enter a new data, if Shiva Bhaiya went to another doctor and gave his IUMC ID, which is this ID, and asked him for
Arnav,
checkup, and that doctor, hello.
yeah, Om, you have basically 1 minute left for the demonstration.
Yeah. So if we have any issue up there, he can write here as a curve and 100 rupees and 1500 rupees for the medicine cost, and update this. The chart will get updated according to the price, and the price is not visible to the doctor to keep the financial status abstracted. So this was about this project, and this project can be implemented by the government to track the data of all the citizens and doctors, how much a citizen is spending on the medicine, the doctor fees, and which diseases are the citizens prone to. This was about my project. Thank you. And the expenditure is also visible up here. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think now we can move on to the Q&A. So from the panelists, Mudit, Arnav, and Naman, like, if anyone has any questions for whom, we can start picking them those up now.
Sure. Clarifying question. So, Om, who is entering the data, the doctor or the patient?
No, patient is not entering the data. The data is entered by the doctor where the patient is going for checkups. If I am going to a doctor and doctor is entering the data, I must be present at that spot because the data is not mutable. That is, data cannot be edited or it cannot be deleted to keep the robustness and integrity of the application.
Got it. So, what is the incentive for the doctor to enter the data?
Sir, pardon, sir.
Like, why would the doctor enter the data? Like, what is the benefit for the doctor?
Sir, this project is meant to be implemented by the government. So government will ask every doctor to put the data of their patient online so that government can verify everything about that citizen. But the data which the application which I have made cannot be currently used by government, or there is no administrative people who are using it. So I have not implemented that panel because that was long procedure and cannot be done in 24 hours.
Thank you.
Any other questions by Arnav, Naman?
Yeah, I think I'll go next. So, Om, firstly, great project. Really
Thank
love
you,
the
sir.
implementation and the idea as well. So, one thing would be, so the data that you were updating, right, on the
Yes.
dashboard where you had some graphs. So, is it being updated in, like, the data, is it being updated in the local storage, or are you actually storing it
No,
somewhere
no,
in the
no.
cloud?
Data is stored in the Firebase, the Fire Cloud, Firebase
Oh,
Cloud Firestore, and all the
okay,
profile pictures that you saw, the images that you saw of Shiva Bhaiya and of my dashboard too, those are
great.
uploaded to cloud storage, Firebase.
Great. So, second question is more about the idea itself. So, you mentioned that the government can implement this, right?
Yes,
So,
and
my
I am
perspective.
sending this project to government too after this
Mhm.
hackathon.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, my question here is, how does it actually help the government or the patients? I have two follow-ups. I'll just let you know so that you can answer
Yeah.
accordingly. Second, have you researched whether anything like this already exists? And third,
Uh,
what would be the issue with privacy? There are privacy concerns here, right? So how do we
yes.
solve for that, or is that not an issue here?
First thing, I have researched for this, and in my house I was talking about the hackathon and all those things. So my dad came up with the idea that the government is thinking about implementing a thing like this, a platform like this, where they can centralize the health data. And about the next question, that is security concerns. So currently this is authenticated by using the email address of the user, but the other authentication can also be implemented in this. So we have to just remove out the Firebase authentication and implement the other authentication, but other authentication is a thing for which I have to take permission from Aadhaar card and their UIDI website, but they are not responding to me, so I was unable to implement that particular thing.
No. So my
It
concern,
was
I think, here was whether the government can actually see the patient data, because that data is private even for the government to
Yes,
access,
yes,
right?
yes. If implemented for those administrative level people, then they can see the data and they can take glance through the data and also visualize the data through the graphs.
Okay. I think finally, how will this actually help? Like you said, government is trying to implement this, but why are they implementing this? What is the logic behind it?
So if it is implemented, then we visit doctor, and doctor asks us what was your medical history and which was the previous disease you were prone to, or if you have a sugar or anything like that, or blood pressure problem. So doctor, if he enters your name, your email id, phone number, or iumc id, then he will get information about your health history, the health data, the whole information. So he can search through that data, and the process of visiting the doctor and checking up and asking for those things that about the health history or health data will be reduced, and the government will be able to see that which diseases people are prone to. Suppose if people are getting hepatitis, and the number of hepatitis increases, then government can see that the number of hepatitis is increasing, so we have to control that particular thing. Or if the government can see that the people are spending more money on medicals than rather than spending it on doctor's fees, so they can use those generic medicals to reduce down the cost of medicines and all those things.
Awesome, awesome. Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, or are we good to proceed to the next team?
I'm good. So Om, the interface looks amazing.
Thank you,
Like
sir.
the design is pretty good.
Thank you, sir.
But yeah, no other questions, Shibai.
All right, I guess we can proceed to the next team. So thank you so much, Om, for presenting uh, your hack. Right,
Thank
we
you.
can
Thank
move
you.
to the next team. Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
So the next team is Pehle Tu Bata, and we can invite over the team next to present their idea. So we have Mridul from the team.
Hi, sir.
Yeah,
I, I
hi.
I can share the screen right now, right?
Yeah.
So, greetings of the day. Today, our team Pehle Tu Bata is going to present to you our vision of the future, Aidway. Indians today have Amazon to track their clothing, Zomato to track their food, Pitch to map their couriers, and Uber to see their cabs. But are we really sure about the location of the help that we are seeking? This problem of lack of accountability and tracking of emergency services is solved through our app, Aidway. The app offers multiple benefits as it displays to the victim and the emergency personnel the distance between the two and also the expected time of arrival. This also increases the accountability of the emergency personnel as each of their moves and turns is now being recorded and monitored. Also, their location gives hopes to the victim to survive and pull through, giving them a strategic advantage as they might be able to relocate themselves to positions where they are easily visible. Currently, when a victim dials 100, he is transferred to a central call center where the router present notes down the detail of the emergency, assigns them to the closest emergency service. Now, till the time the emergency services are dispatched and are reaching the victim is in complete dismay and is completely clueless. और as Raju's mother correct said correctly, अजीब देश है हमारा. पिज्जा 30 मिनट में पहुंचने की गारंटी है, लेकिन एम्बुलेंस. So how does Aidway really change this whole scenario and how does it make it better? We're going to show you the demo of that. Every user, a victim, or an emergency person has to first register themselves onto our app. We're firstly going to see you through the victim dashboard. Once you log in into the victim dashboard, you will be presented with all the emergency services numbers that you might be that is difficult for every person to remember. As you press call now, you will be directed to your phone, where you can see you will just have the pre-filled number you can call directly, which you can call directly. The C request section shows all the pending cases that you have applied for or all the SOS requests that you have sent. Now, what is an SOS request? SOS request is basically a discrete or manner in which you can send an emergency call, distress call, because every time in an emergency you can't really call someone or be on the phone. So you just have to write the issue, describe it if possible or if the time allows you, select the emergency services that you think are required and send the signal. Once the signal is sent, you can see that in the C request section, the robbery is now available in the SOS request. You click it, you allow the permission. But now you can see that the official hasn't been assigned yet. So what happens in the backend? Let's see. We're going to log in into the router dashboard now. The router is basically a connecting link between the victim and the emergency services. This is the router dashboard in which, in the case he's entering in the call center and receiving a call, he has to fill all the details of the emergency. We have also provided a bell icon on the top right, as you can see. In this bell icon, all the SOS requests that are assigned to this particular router are shown. So once we click that bell icon, you can see that robbery is mentioned, which was sent by Iron Man in the previous slide. Uh, the details have been pre-filled according to the form that he fills. The router just has to choose the Rohini Police Thana and assign it to them. Now we move on to the Thana login. In the Thana login, we can see that the dashboard contains all the details of the requests that have been sent and directed towards that Thana. The robbery section, once you click onto the robbery section, the operator sitting in the emergency service office, once you click onto the robbery section, he can choose the officials that are working already in that section and assign them to that uh, particular robbery or emergency. We have also add and delete officials section in order to make it more realistic and close to the real life as possible, because officers usually get transferred from one place to another. Once you click in the correct credentials as were filled in by the officer while he was registering, you will be redirected. You will be redirected to the list official section where you have already added that official to your office now, and you can use him for further requests. Now, as we can see now, uh, we will add Rajat to theft section now, because he's now available for us. Now, who is really the immediate point of contact for the victim? The emergency personnel. So, what happens in the emergency personnel dashboard? So, once we register, log in into the emergency personnel dashboard, in this case it is Mridul, we see that robbery which was assigned by the Thana in the previous slide is now available to him. Once he click onto that robbery section, a map opens up onto his dashboard as well as on the victim's dashboard, where they both can now see what are the current locations, how far they really are, and the expected time of arrival. The expected time of arrival is shown in the bottom left, while the expected distance between the two is shown on the bottom right. Now, this is not a static system, as it won't be very practical or useful for the people. So we have tried to make it a real-time dynamic updation. So that's what we are going to present to you now. On the left hand side, you can see the officer dashboard. On the middle, you have the victim dashboard, and on the right, we are using an extended display provided by the Android emulator to shift the location of the officer in order to emulate how a officer moving towards the victim would see and pull through in a real life scenario. So as you can see, whenever we are we are updating the location, we are setting the location, the two maps are getting updated with the new expected times of arrival and the new distances between the two, hence making it more dynamic and more realistic, showing you how this whole process is going to be accounted for and made useful. But we thought that this is something that is already being done by Zomato, and so how can we make it more different? How can we include more features into this? So we are basically taking all this data of the emergencies and the details of these emergencies and compiling them into something that is a map feature on the user section. The map section is going to be presented in the next slide. So in this section, what happens is that a user, when he clicks on the map section, he can see all the emergencies that are happening in his neighborhood, along with the intensity of those emergencies. There are three intensities: the red, the yellow, and the green. Like in this section, the current user has a yellow intensity emergency near him. So whenever whenever he is traveling, he not only now knows that there is traffic there, but also the reason for that traffic and the expected time he can expect for that traffic to clear out. So basically, we are using all this data and making it more realistic and more accessible to the general public. And basically, what we feel is that safety is something that is the right of every citizen. And so 8-way helps you to grant that safety, grant that, get that safety to you. So what our motto is that don't just track your food, track your health. So that is 8-way. And thank you for your patience. We are open for any questions.
All right. Thank you. So I think we can proceed with the questions now.
So I have a question, and uh, I just want to know why the motivation for tracking this emergency healthcare services has come from. Because I was just thinking that if you're call an ambulance and you're in a life-threatening situation, it's very different from waiting for your food. Would that person be actually opening the app and seeing how far is the ambulance away? I mean, probably
Yes,
that
sir.
would be other things on their mind, right?
Yes, sir. I understand your point. And the motivation if you remember, during the Nirbhaya rape case, the victims were left on the road, and the news reports that came, they were very specifically telling us that the victims were completely left in display and dismay, and were completely clueless about how and when the emergency person are reaching them, and even when they were reaching, they were not there was no accountability for that. So, like once you call 100 right now, you know that someone is coming, but there is no accountability or no nothing that enforces that that time constraint on that people. Because right now, if there is a time, there is a expected time duration, the person has to arrive in that time duration. Otherwise, that would be recorded in his log, and he would have to report the why he was not able to reach that location, what were the reasons, what were the causes. So basically, we are not only just making it like a food delivery section, but we are also trying to make it more accountable for the the emergency side of things. Because currently there is nothing enforcing that or foreseeing that. We are so that's what we are, that was the basic motivation, that let's just enforce it and make it more accountable for them, so that this whole system can be intrinsically more accurate and more good for the general more good for the citizens of India.
Okay, and the other question is, have you checked for other alternatives like this that exist, like app-based calling of ambulance or something like that exist,
Yes, sir.
and
Yes,
anything
sir.
that you found in those solutions that you have improved upon?
Sir, basically, what we have found upon is that there are basically singular services that are available. Like you can track your ambulance. There was one app, I don't remember exactly the name of it, but you can track your ambulance. But there was nothing that tracks everything. Like, because when there is a big emergency or something that is that requires for multiple services at the same time, our app allows you to track all of them at this all of those things. So we are integrating every service that are available in the country for emergencies, and trying to provide all those distances or all those times at the same time. So basically, what we're so that is what we feel is our USP and what is our benefit from others.
Okay, those were the only questions from my side. If anybody has any other questions.
Yeah, I think I'll go next. So, Mridul, I think really, really interesting app. I really like the UI. So, coming to a few questions. Now, first is you were talking about the SOS, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, what I felt was that the SOS, that's an emergency response, a very quick emergency response. For that, your application was not very quick. I had to fill out a
Okay.
lot of details and then the information would go out, right? It should be
Yes,
the
sir.
other
Yes,
way
sir.
around. I would just click a button and my information goes to people,
Yes, sir.
right?
For telling, like adding on to that, it is not necessary for the user to fill in those details. We just filled them up so that we can show you the whole demo. But the SOS request, you don't have to fill in anything. You just have to select a particular office, and even if you're not able to do that, you can just go to the end and click the send signal button. All the details of you would go through your the registration. In the registration, we have already filled in all the Aadhaar card and everything that links you to the person database. So that would be fetched directly. But there is no mandation or a compulsion for the user to fill in that form. He can just send that. He can click that button. But we can obviously, as you said, that we can just put that button on in the top and send. Just make it a send without opening up the form. We can obviously do that.
Right, because in the application, you see, if you give the field, the person will be confused in an SOS situation. That's not a good thing to have. That should be the default, right? Based on the user
Yes, sir.
location, you actually figure out everything.
Yes, sir.
So that was, I think, one feedback. And have you checked what is different in the current SOS scenario? Like what happens then compared to what your application does?
So right now there is not any SOS scenario as of now initiated by the government of India. If because I have researched and tried to find out various alternatives or things that the government has initiated, but I have not been able to find any. Right now, all you have is a phone through which you can call the central call center, and the central call center redirects your call and your emergency to various services. There is no SOS kind of scenario. All you have to call, you have to wait in the queue if there is a queue, because if there are multiple if multiple users calling the call center, there is a queue, so you have to wait in that queue. That is what is being prevalent right now. There is no SOS kind of initiative by the government.
Okay.
Yes,
I think the
and also like I wasn't like able to join this when I was in the backstage. So I wanted to add like we have also added the feature for like showing the reason for traffic delays. So that is not there, and like we are not introducing this service as a new service. We are just adding on to the like previously present one. Like previously we used to call the router and he'll have to file the cases to the thanas and all. So we are kind of like adding on to it, so this can be like integrated with the current system as well. So like we were kind of aiming for the like made in India campaign that was started by Mr. Modi ji, so that like for example apps like Arogya Setu came into effect, right? So we just wanted to like add our app onto that.
Okay. So you're saying you are an aggregator.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, on the current government services that are being provided, because basically ambulances and all these services are provided by the government, right? So we can extend this to all the government facilities.
Cool. I think that's a great answer. Finally, I would like to know: do you think there would be requirement for operators in this entire scenario, or
Y-
the mechanical aspect is just enough?
Sir, operators will be required in the initial stages because we have not really created a AI bot or something like that to automatically redirect those requests to the emergency services. But if we are able to train a model or something on those lines, in which that emergency service is directly picked up and sent, I think that this can be eliminated and the process can be made faster.
Yes, and the reason why we introduced the operator is because currently there are operators. So we didn't wanted like a app to change the whole system. We wanted the transaction to be like slower, right? So like one step at a time. So currently operators are there, but in the future we can add like machine learning algorithms like KNN and all to integrate this so that it can find the nearest police station to it. But we didn't do it right now.
Got it. Cool. I think that's all I have. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I think that also comes with the time. So yeah, thank you so much, Mridul and Puneet from the team. We can now proceed to the next team.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So the next team is 405 found. So we have Some. Some. So feel free to go ahead. You'll be having 5 minutes to present. So yeah, you
Okay,
can
sir.
start.
So this is Somazar Kulshish, and there's one of my peer to Ashwini Kumar Verma and Rishabh Johar. We have made a Zoom clone. Let me just show you. So this is basically our education app. What we generally thought that our classes lacked one thing, that was interaction between the teachers and the peers. Like we used to, like in the offline classes, we used to answer like if sir asks question, we have to answer it like, hey sir, this is the answer, and this is the answer. So what we thought that online classes, the basic Zoom apps lack was they were not meant for school work. They were basically meant for meeting. So what we thought that we should add a poll that students can use to give the answer, and then on that basis the teacher can evaluate the progress on the topic. So let me just make a room to create meeting. So this is the attendee meeting. Let me just paste it on my Discord group. So start meeting as host. So this basic app contains all the functionalities of Zoom. We can mute, we can turn off the videos, we can share the screen, which I'm already sharing. Though this was just, I guess, I don't know, created first. So there we can see the participants. We can mute them as well. So we muted, they were muted. I can turn off the videos, and if I want to like a private chat, I can do chat. So on his screen, Ashwini, can you private message me?
Yeah, yeah.
No, not on the group, private chat.
No problem.
Yeah, so the juries can see it. Okay. So yes, we can see his typed it. Here we can see like we can specifically focus on people, or we can see anything grade. And the main feature of this app is we can type a question like, what is the speed of light? Right. Now the answer can be this or this, and I can basically start a poll. So if anybody answers it, Jor, can you answer it? Okay, so we can basically see the count. So the professor can evaluate how the progress of the class is going. So this can actually help to increase the interaction between the students and the teachers. And what we can further do is that companies like the edutech companies basically can use this app to start a reward point system, like what LeetCode uses, that they give point to you for solving a problem, and then you can redeem those points to basically buy the goodies of the companies. Like LeetCode gives you a LeetCode T-shirt, so that can actually motivate people to use more of more of these apps and can also boom the online industry of education. So this was our take on the education system. The motivation, innovation we thought was to integrate an attendance system. So it is a full functional app. We can use facial recognition and an Excel sheet to put down the attendance, and that can actually help the teachers to more focus more on studies and not on dilly dally on normal stuff that can hinder their performance. So
All right.
this was Team 4.
Yeah, I think we can now proceed to the questions.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
First question would be that why did you go ahead and build a complete web app like solution and not say a plugin for Zoom or something like that?
So this was basically not full app. It was basically an Agora app builder that can actually give you kind of a simulation of the front end with the WebRTC line. And so our work was a little bit less. So what we made was with TypeScript a plugin for this app.
we
So
just
this is
uh, we just made a poll system in which we can make the question system more interactive, by which the teacher can pose the question and the student can answer the question. That is a basic idea of that, what we have done in our project. But the all over the clone of the Zoom, that we made with the help of Agora, which we have not done many things in that.
it was basically a front end. We worked on the back end to make all things work with it.
Got it, got it. Anybody else has any other questions?
I think if no one else is going, I'll go next. Just very simple question, guys. So you were saying, uh, so what in this application did you actually make? Like, what was your contribution?
So we actually integrated the WebRTC for this video call app. They gave the front end for it, and we integrated the Socket IO and WebRTC with it. And then we made this polling app for it with the React.js and React Native and a bit of TypeScript. So this was our integration layer.
So you guys created a pole on top of an existing architecture or infrastructure.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
With basically the backend given by us. The front end was from Agora app builder.
All right, thank you so much. I think we can now proceed to the next team. So the next team that we have is HFS. So welcome, Yash. You have total of 5 minutes to present. Good
yeah,
luck.
sure. So, good evening, everyone. I'm Yash Nathani from Team HFS. The theme we chose is finance, and the project we decided to build is an application to educate young adults and teens about financial planning and investing. So, we decided to create an interactive web app from which people can understand investing and finance and get to know about different investment options available to them. To make this process more interesting, we try to gamify the app. The user is given various investment options, and every choice the user make has the consequences. We use historic data to decide whether the user's decision is fruitful or not. So before starting the game, let's go through the rules. So the game starts with you having 200 coins. For every for every year starting from 2010 to 2020, you will have three investment choices. The objective of the game is to maximize your capital by making sound choices in every financial year. You can hover on the options to get information or hint about the investment and make an informed decision. After every investment, you will get your returns and feedback on your decision. So without wasting any time, let's start with the game. So this is the point section. You can see your current coins here. If you ever forget the rules, there is the how to play section. You can check out all the rules as I've already told. And this is the main section where you will, here is the section where you will make the choices. So for example, the year is 2010 and I have to choose one of the given investment options. I can hover on each option to get insights like this. And I think I will go with the stock market. It was a sound choice, and I made a profit of 17.9%. As you can see, my coins have increased. But what if I'm not sure about the investment options, even after reading the insight? I can always go to the Learn About section and learn about different type of investments and their respective terminologies. For example, this section is about cryptocurrency. You can learn about terms like NFTs, blockchains, and etc. This section is about stock market. The next section is about traditional banking and some of the other investment choices you can take. The game will continue, and I have to make decision 9 more times, and every year the choices will be different. So it was a crash. So this was not good for me. Let's try an IPO. This was a good one, but make sure you don't fall for any scam. Only make decision based on your learning and insights. You can also learn about tax or compounding, which is also called the eighth wonder of the world. And in future, we will like to gamify a few more financial concepts and instruments so that people can learn more about financial planning and investments. So this is all from our side, and now we are open to any question from the judges.
Just a clarifying question. Who was the target audience?
Well, teens
Who?
and young adults. We can also say anyone who has maybe never even heard about the terms. So the concept is to familiarize with the terms, just like finance 101, get to know about the terms, what are different things that there are in the investment and the personal finance world.
Got it. Arnav, go ahead.
Sure. So, guys, interesting idea, I think. So, my question here is, did you guys see the existing applications? Many applications use this kind of a gaming mechanism as a fodder, so that they can hook customers and then sell them their application. Basically, try to get them hooked to trading and then earn from them. So, how is yours different from any of those applications?
R is more of an education app. We are it's like a game, so that the person can get familiarized with the term, like what is a stock market, what things can happen, what is an IPO, what are other types of investment that they can go for.
You know the
As such,
am I
it
audible?
is not we are not trying to gamify the stock market or the crypto market. It's just an like an introduction to different things that there are.
So yeah, I want to add on this one. Like we have those other apps like Bros and all. So they are just gonna get you the interest what you can get if you invest in 15 or more years and all those stuff. But we are trying to create an atmosphere a bit more gaming. So that's why we have added the retro theme and make it somewhat like a Mario game, and we have provided the gaming feel in this particular. So you can play a game as well and try to learn at the same time. So this was our option, so the thinking behind this project.
I think I'll just give you guys two suggestions. One would be maybe you could have experimented with ratios here. Right now, you could only pick one. Maybe you could have invested percentages in all three. Second would be after the game is played, maybe you can give suggestions or show graphs, what every scenario or journey would look like and what was the best one.
Yeah,
Something like
yeah, we
that. So
do.
that,
We
yeah.
do show the final score and the percentage from the initial 200 points you ended at when the 2020 ends. Uh, like
Yeah, we
in
do
this
plan to
kind of,
expand this app into the, as you said,
this
we
was
are
the
in this particular. Yeah, go ahead, yes.
yeah, it was because of the time constraint. We also thought of that when we talk about investment, we talk about diversifying our investments. So, but because of the time constraint, we were not able to implement it. In future, we'll surely will, and add few more types of investment and a few more games.
Cool, awesome.
Cool. So Yash and Sudhanshu, so you mentioned that the target audience is young people. Why do you think currently they're not learning about finance or financial literacy? What is the bottleneck right now?
Yeah, I do think that recently if you watch IPL and all those stuff, these terms and these terminology are quite in the market. I mean, in the ads and also the terms such as mutual funds and all these finances terms are new to the Indian market. So we are just trying to familiarize them, the audience, to these particular terms in a gamified manner. And as the market is right now a bit more into finances, you can see these apps such as Upstocks and all those big, they are sponsoring big events such as IPL. So they are getting into the market, and we are trying to make sure that the young generation, young audience, are having some options like these games so that they can learn about the basic terminologies.
And I'll like to add that, like as our culture has shown that our generation has learned much more about cryptocurrency through memes than articles and books. So a gamified version of these type of concept may encourage them to learn about them.
And I didn't see any videos on the platform. Is like, did you think about using videos, or why did you not use videos?
as why- uh, as the thing is that we are no authority on giving financial tips. We are third year engineering students. Yeah, but in the future, if we have an expert who knows this stuff much better than we do, of course, videos can be introduced, and like shorter videos are a lot in the culture for something like that to get to get the introduction of some terms and such can be incorporated in this website.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, the interface looks good, by the way. It does remind me
Yeah.
of Mario.
Yeah, we went full retro for this one.
Yeah, no more questions from me. Hi, Shivai, can we move on to the next team?
So the next team that we have is the B team. So yeah, welcome, Edson. You have 5 minutes to present.
Sure, sir. Just a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it is
visible.
visible. So can we
Yeah.
begin?
Yes, please.
Feel the vibe, feel the music. Cheers to all the good vibes. Good evening, dear judges. Today we, the B team, Vishal Sehgal, Aditya Bhatnagar, Arjun Rai, and Riya Kapoor, are pleased to present to you our website for the scalar HackX Hackathon, Vibin, which we developed together. From the entertainment section, create a hack that improves the mood of people. Now Arjun shall continue further on.
Now, to tell why exactly we choose this as a topic, we have just experienced a pandemic, and throughout this epidemic, we have undoubtedly felt cut off from the rest of the world, pushed into our houses and unable to leave them. Everyone in this room, I'm sure, has felt low and helpless at some point as a result of the reality they have been thrust into. All of these contributes to our feelings of frustration, anger, confusion, and helplessness regarding our current circumstances. However, there was still the question, what should we do when faced with a situation that is entirely out of our hands? Where are we going and what does it take to be happy? Well, we, the B team, are here with a solution. We have designed a platform to make you experience the fun that life still has to offer you.
Our website uniquely combines laughter, excitement by gameplay, relaxation, and mental peace. It succeeds in delivering a positive outlook and a fresh vibe, thus the name Vibin. It enables the user to feel motivated to unlock the power of their mind by simply meditating, all of which is accompanied by a good selection of music. Moreover, the website is entirely free to use and is an excellent substitute for overthinking. So, without further ado, let's dive into our website, Vibin.
As you may see, the tranquil backdrop of the site is intended to offer the user a soothing feeling. Now let's get started.
This is, however, the Joker's Arena, which is the first stop on the tour. Here are several Simpsons set jokes that go along with the characters from the Simpsons series. Like here, a joke is supposed to appear with the character of from the Simpsons series. Then comes, let's go on to the motivation webpage.
Motivation page.
Yeah. Then comes the website for inspiration. These quotations will encourage and inspire you to reach to your full potential and achieve your objectives. To encourage your pals, you may also tweet them.
It's finally the time to go into the zone of games. This is for gamers. Don't be concerned. Not all of them are action packed shooting games. Many of these are quite simple to play games that you can have a good time doing with your pals. The games are organized into a collection, and each time you press the button, you will be taken into a different game. I mean, how amazing is that? Let me just show you a demo. Yeah, there's it's working. And moving on, next comes the meditation web page. Here we have for you a replayable timer with two themes, a rainy theme and a beach vibe. I mean, we all love that. With these settings, you can set the timer and meditate for as long as you like by escaping the chaos in your mind and get in touch with your inner self. We have three timer options of 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and 10 minutes. And someone very rightly said that music is the best therapy you can have. Here we have for you a music player with a great playlist to make your mood even better than it currently is. I guess now it's the time to grab in your earphones and to just vibe in. Now let me present you the future prospects for this project. Improving the music player to recommend more personalized music by incorporating deep learning, data sciences, and machine learning concepts. To also add more extensive database to the same to store many more music files. To completely change and upgrade the meditation web page by adding timetables, professional classes from instructors, providing good tutorials and diet plans, and including a blog section and success stories as well.
We also plan to include a chat feature and login functionality for connecting with professionals or people who follow a similar diet or exercise plan. For revenue generation, we plan to include ads on the website, premiums for music recommendation, and the meditation webpage for giving a personalized diet and fitness regime. We're also planning to update the jokes and motivation web pages to add more jokes and fun memes and puns, perhaps comics also later on, including TED Talks, videos, blogs, etc. in the motivation web page. We sincerely hope you enjoyed our project. Thank you very much for listening. Signing off, the B team.
That's it from our side, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the judges?
Yeah. Hi, Arjun and Ria. So the app looks good again. Looks great. My question is, like, what are some alternatives to this product right now?
To be honest, we haven't really found a website which actually, stops you from overthinking and really pulls you out of your low state to actually, be out there and, have fun in life. Even though everything is stopped, like it's very difficult for people to get out of that. I guess the only substitute right now is, scrolling through social media, or watching reels on Instagram or TikTok, or, just, yeah, chat with your friends. I guess that's the only alternative we have right now, which isn't really that healthy. It's sort of toxic, but yeah.
Yes.
No. One question regarding the implementation. Is there a backend to the website, or is it just front end?
For the moment, we are not having any backend to the website, but we are
Yeah,
really planning for the future prospects to add more backend or adding a chat feature or features related to that, so that we can make it more dynamic or more functionality. We can add more functionality to it.
yeah. Currently, it's
For
just
the
a front
moment,
end content.
yeah, yeah,
Got it. And the content that's available, only the uh, administrators of the website would be able to add the content, not the users, right?
right.
Yeah.
Cool. That's all I had. Anyone else, if you have any questions, you can go ahead.
So did you, Surya, Arjun, I think great UI as Mudit mentioned. So did you guys think of some sort of a community kind of a thing, or is it supposed to be one person exploring different
Like
like?
Right
as
now,
we
it's
see, yeah.
one person currently
For the
exploring.
moment, it's for one person, but as the app grows larger, we can plan a community, but that's not
Yeah.
mainstream. We are looking to go into. It's basically a
Yeah,
one person
our main
website.
community will come from when we update the meditation webpage, because we're planning to include a chat feature and a lot of things there.
Yeah,
But right now, it's just a one person thing.
Cool. I think
due to
next
the
question would be,
limitations.
would you guys like? Do you guys think this is better as a web application or a mobile application?
First on, we are trying it as a web application. If it works great, then surely we'll expand that into a mobile application.
Okay, looks like Shivai, we can move on to the next
Sure.
team.
All right.
Thank you for
Okay.
presenting, Arjun and Ria.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So the next team is Team Achievers.
Hello, Viyan. Our project name is MediX, and we will explore what is the problem statement, why we need this app, and what are the key features of our app. And some we will see some snapshots of our app, and we will see what all things we can update more in this app. So, problem statement. So, as you can see nowadays, we cannot allow patient to sit in clinic more than 5 to 10 patient to sit in a clinic. They have to maintain social distancing, So doctor facing issues, they cannot allow everyone to sit there. So, and one more thing, that we can see, in small towns, if you're going in a clinic, then you have to wait until your chance comes. So in this app, you can book appointment from here itself, or you can go to the clinic and book, and you can track your process in the app, how many patients are left before you. Okay, so we have created this app. This app will have two phases. One phase for patients, so that they can book appointment from the same app itself, and track that appointment. And another app will be for admin, that will be controlled by doctor or receptionist. They can also book appointment from on field, or if anyone has booked, they can update that position, that if for example 40 patients are there, they can update that now 15th chance is going on, so one can come accordingly. He don't have to wait until his chance comes. So what are its key features? So this will have clinic owners to maintain social distancing, and it will also save the time of that patient. He don't have to wait there till his chance come. And one more thing, one can book appointment from app itself. And another thing is that, for example, if a clinic has 5 to 6 doctors, one don't need to visit the clinic to know whether that doctor is present today or not. He can check that from app itself. So here are the few snapshots. This is the splash screen, and these are intro screens. Okay, so one have to log in with his name and phone number. Then one can see the categories of clinics near him. So like we go to general, and in general one can search clinic, like there's a clinic named S Clinic. So once he clicked on it, he can see doctors available there. Okay, so one more thing we have missed it, that here it will come a icon that this doctor is available now or not. So one can check the doctor's profile, and here one can click set appointment, means book appointment. Then one can fill its detail and can set appointment. And one more thing, in homepage we can see that there's a icon of schedules. So if one click on it, he can see that he has booked appointment in S Clinic. Um, okay, so there will be one more page in between. In that he can see that I have booked appointment in that doctor. So there he can see that there are 19 patients before him, so he can go accordingly. So here we have used Android Studio and Firebase as a backend. So what will be the future updates? Like we can also add on app treatment and counseling. Like there are many apps which are allowing this to uh, counsel through that app only. So we can also add that, and we can also integrate medicine delivery apps. Uh, like one can order the medicines from the same app itself. And we can also do one thing, in this app we can see that a receptionist or a doctor have to maintain that now 15th number is going on. So we can also use OpenCV and ML to maintain that too, that it can check now 7 are waiting, now 15 number is going on. So, and we can also use AR to to give the experience of clinic itself. Yeah. So okay, any questions?
Yeah. So, sir, can you show us a live demo or the Firebase
uh,
database or anything, so that we can see that it's working live?
Okay, so we were unable to build that admin phase due to time issue. So we have built it the patient phase. You can see one can book his appointment from the app. Can I show that schema of database?
Yes,
Will
please.
I show this videos? If will I show these videos? Actually, your net buffers right now.
Okay, yeah, it's okay. That's all I wanted to see. Anyone else, if you have any questions, you can ask.
Guys, where did you pick the UI design from? Like, where did you take the inspiration from?
We found it's not exactly the same, but we found this one uh, we found the base UI from Figma community, and we have modified it.
Cool. I think that's the only question I have.
And can I share the schema for backend? Okay,
Yeah, the
so is it
interface looks
visible?
great. Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so uh, as you were seeing that clinics, so yes, clinic type 1. So we can see that there are clinic categories. So for example, this is general, so this will visible in this. So these are the document name. So this will be the unique ID of every clinic. For example, it's 0, then it will be its name and image, and inside it there will be a collection of doctors, and doctor will be assigned with a unique doctor ID. In that, every doctor has detail like as you have seen in that photo. So okay, once the user has booked his appointment, it will be visible here in appointment section. It will be documented by its unique ID. So, for example, my unique ID was this. Uh, okay, so okay, one second. Huh. Okay, so this was the clinic image. Okay, inside clinic, it also stores the doctor name. Okay, inside that, it stores my detail, full name, and this
Hitesh,
name
I
is of
think your
doctor.
screen is not visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so I have shown this database. So this name, full name is of username, um, and this name is of doctor name. It will also be shown in appointment section, my appointments. So previously I have shown this category. In that category, every clinic will have unique clinic ID. So for example, S clinic have 0 ID. So in that, every doctor will also have a unique ID. In that, they will have their introduction, and one can, if one books, that will be stored in appointment. And if the admin have to change, like for 0 clinic, uh, there will be clinic name here. Okay, so for example, he can change of that doctor that for this doctor there are total 41 appointment now. So once someone booked the appointment, it will be updated here, and one can also update that now 20th number is going on. So in that app it will be shown uh, total minus that user's appointment.
No more questions from me. If someone else has questions, they can ask.
If not, we can proceed to the next team. So the next team is Rockers. But thank you, Hitesh and Saurabh.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So next we have the team Rockers. It's welcome sign.
Uh, Good evening, everyone. Our team name is Rockers, and team members are myself, Sai Tanusha, and Ashutosh Tiwari. So let's get to the presentation. So our the project which we chosen is using fraud detection system for finances, and this theme comes under finance. Okay, so this is we have done this project in a very unique way. We have used software MATLAB and the concept fuzzy logic. So let's get started of how we thought about doing this project. Basically, this project, many of them think that we do this project using deep learning, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and neural networks, etc. But we have done this using fuzzy toolbox and MATLAB. So basically, we have drawn some boundaries, such as how can this be implemented by using users behavior and categorizing the outputs into three different categories, that is legal, suspicious, and fraud. So basically, what is the main concept that we have used in this project is membership function in fuzzy logic. Function is basically applying the practical knowledge, and it actually it is a concept that gives us the output that is true to the value. And basically the toolbox, that is fuzzy logic toolbox that we have used in the MATLAB, it is used to define the complex system behaviors, because actually doing this project we have categorized into some 12 rules by which we can say whether the person claiming the amount or person doing the financial transaction, and whether the financial transaction is comes under legal, suspicious, or not legal. So the concepts here, as it is mentioned, we have used the five concepts, that is fuzzy logic method, fuzzy rules, membership functions, fuzzification, defuzzification, and MATLAB functionality. Now the test cases, these on these four parameters, that is time, amount, location, and output, we have based on these four parameters, we have done for 12 cases, and the output will be shown by my teammate Ashutosh. So basically, this is the overview of our system. First, we'll gather the information or the transaction behavior of the user. Then we will check about the history of the transaction data of that user, and then we'll get into the R processor. Then we'll check all the parameters that we have mentioned, and we'll get an output that is the maximum output that we get, that is categorized into fraud, legal, and suspicious. So this is basically the structure that the MATLAB has that we have implemented in the MATLAB, and this is the output we get. So input are these things. These 6 variables are the inputs, and the output, we get this as the maximum of the selected outputs as the final result. So basically, what can be said as a wholesome of this project is, it is not, we can say that the fast computing method, but yes, we can say it is the best computing method till date, because we have simplified it, and we have used the simplest version such that easily there won't be a problem to any banks or the financial transaction system. And basically, it is all about judging the transaction system using the user persona, and not any special tools required, only the fuzzy theory and MATLAB. So that's it. Next, my teammate will continue.
So this is our fuzzy logic model in MATLAB, where you can see we have three inputs. Main three inputs are time, amount, and location. As of need, we can add more inputs, which all three inputs goes into our membership function, fraud detection. And different combinations of these inputs, like time, amount, and location, results in different outputs. Like low time, high amount, and outside India definitely will come under fraud. And different inputs and combinations of those result in different output. As you can see, we have created many rules, and definitely some inputs will have more weightage, like outside Asia will have more weightage for it, and different like this different type of inputs have different weightage, and different combinations result in different outputs, like legal, suspicious, and fraud. Also, this is our graph for it. Like if we changed graphical version of our fuzzy logic model, if we want to change the input, amount, and location in real time, and see what changes occur for different inputs, like this we can see. If we change the location, we will see a simultaneously changing output, whether these different combinations will result in fraud or not. As you can see, we can also change the inputs manually from the bracket. Also, we can also see the 3D model for this. See, there is our 3D model for our fuzzy logic function, which can be seen from different points, and different amount and time will result in the outputs fraudulent or not. Thank you.
Great.
Yes.
Ashutosh and Saisu, like what tool are you using for the visualization?
So the tool we are using is MATLAB, and we have inbuilt in MATLAB fuzzy logic toolbox, and we are analyzing all the data from that.
Got it. So you might have covered this, and I might have missed this. Where is the data coming from? Like, how do you figure out if it is fraud or not?
We have like different combinations. Like if you are using the credit card at like 1 in the morning, and the location is outside India, so these two combinations, if these two combinations result at the same time, so it gets categorized into suspicious. Like and different combinations will categorize into fraud. We have given the parameter. We have defined the parameters resulted in, like 4 to 7 will be different. 5 to, if the difference between the average transaction and the latest transaction is very high, then it will be categorized as a suspicious.
Let's say, for example, if you have recently taken amount from an ATM yesterday, and you are again drawing an amount today, so the time we can consider is a 2 day gap, and the amount is, suppose the day before yesterday you have drawn an amount of 2000, and tomorrow again you are planning to draw an amount of 5000, so the amount difference is low, and the location is in India itself, so we can categorize that as a legal transaction. Like that, we have made nearly 12 cases for legal, suspicious, and fraud.
Got it. So the fine tuning of the thresholds, I'm assuming you have like certain cutoffs and you have certain ranges, right? That you
Yes.
might have encoded
Yes,
in
sir.
your rules. So how do you figure out those? Like, is it mostly based on just common knowledge, common sense, or has that been deduced through some other available data sets and what you might have seen in some data
up
sets?
up to this time we have like common knowledge of we have used common like for the location we have used in India, outside India, and in the state, but for different time and frequency we have also taken intuition from the Kaggle data sets of credit transactions, fraud credit transactions.
And basically, we have set a limit in dollars, so we have put a wide range of limit. And recently, in this 24 hours timeout, we were not able to do for a big amount of inputs. We have done for small amount of inputs, and yes, it is 66% accurate.
Cool. That's all I have. Anyone else, if you have any questions, you can ask.
Yeah, sure. Did you compare the accuracy of this particular model? You mentioned it is 66% versus the other techniques, because as far as I see in your slide, you have mentioned that the purpose of this project and the reason to use MATLAB was to improve over the older tools, etc. So did you compare the efficiency and what was the result?
Yes, sir. So actually, first we compared, and sir, the thing that I mentioned in the last slide is this is not the best computation method, but yes, this is the best computation method till now, because this is the simplified version. Many of them use AI, DL, ML, neural networks, but we have used MATLAB and we have got 66% accurate answers. We are not saying that we got 100%, but yes, we have reached till 70% of the accurate answers, and we are trying to build and improve it more efficiently.
As
Got it,
we
got it.
will add more inputs with this, time of purchase, frequency, the interval between the purchases, the accuracy will increase, but the time constraint, we cannot add more inputs with that.
Got it. And also, as you have used MATLAB, did you think about how can you use it for production use, etc.? Because this will be a system that will be deployed on some servers, right? And it will have to online evaluate if a transaction is going to be fake or not. So, did you compare about using MATLAB versus other languages like Python, etc. for the same? Or can this not be done in other languages like Python?
My partner mentioned, it can be done in almost in Python using different sklearn libraries. The best method, when I researched it, I found that there are many libraries in sklearn we can do it, like random forest is best one, then CG boost and XG boost, different algorithms are there, but we wanted to go something different, like we are just learning about fuzzy, and fuzzy has a very unique property that it takes the possibilities and probabilities between 0 and 1 only, not 0 and 1. Yeah, so that's why we considered to give it a try and come out with a different algorithm.
Yeah, recently we both had an curiosity to learn fuzzy logic, so we thought, why not implement it this in this project, in this hackathon.
Got it. No, my question was mainly about choosing the language. I mean, like, why MATLAB? Can this such a logic not be implemented in other languages?
Yes, sir. This
Mainly,
can be
yeah.
implemented in many languages. This can be done, but we, as a mathematics and computing students, we are of BSc Maths and Computing students. So we thought of inclining it in both the ways, not only pure computing part, inclining in both the ways. Like fuzzy logic is a maths concept, and we have done research on that. And MATLAB is a scientific concept. So merging both, we got this output, and we are really happy with our project presentation.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, great visualization, by the way.
Thank you.
I had a question. So the number of parameters that you have used to get this data. So I think two questions. One would be that where would you get the data for the transactions for? Like it's not easy to get like transaction details, like say whether the transaction happened in India or not in India, and then those kind of details. Where do you plan to get those transactions of a user from to do this analysis?
Like if the this system goes into a bank or that country, like different types of web applications or bank or different financial community, so they will have access to the like amount, location and time. These three things are not very personal details, and bank can use them to get suspicious fraud and legal outputs. And we also like researched it in Kaggle datasets. As I mentioned before, they have very high input about this.
Okay, okay. And a follow-up question is that if the number of parameters are actually so limited and the impact that each parameter has is something very deterministic, then why not go with a decision tree instead of using a machine learning approach?
So that only, matlab, we in a one day time, we actually did not go to those many higher complicated topics. I know they are efficient, but this we found as a simpler and 60% efficient. And after the hackathon, actually we started working on the project to make it more efficient and using more complex theories of fuzzy. So basically our project is totally inclined in fuzzy MATLAB only, and we are not uh, actually getting into MLDL neural networks, etc. But although I am not saying that through those features and through those languages and through those concepts it can't be built more accurately. It can be built more accurately, but this is the easiest, this is the simpler version, and this is the most efficient version, and the combination of maths and computing.
Okay, no further questions from my side.
I think I just had one question. It's a quick one. So, guys, I'm not very familiar with the MATLAB. So, just wanted to know the UI that you guys had. So, have you just made the logic, like, have you made the fuzzy logic behind the entire program, or you made the entire UI and everything?
We just only designed the fuzzy logic. We did not design the UI behind those pictures. Those were designed by the MATLAB itself and given as a source to us in the form of a add-on, which is known as a fuzzy toolbox, fuzzy logic toolbox.
Okay, okay, cool. I think that's the only question I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Now we have Dean Cypher who will be joining us next.
So first of all, very good evening to all of you, and welcome to SleepX. So I am Dhanraj Sawan from Team Cypher. So I am going to present my idea based on the sleep. Okay. So let's quickly move to the problem statement. So according to the Statista Global Consumer Survey, people drink an average of 2-3 cups of coffee per day. So coffee contains the caffeine, which can have the disruptive effect on our sleep. So the most obvious effect is it of the stimulant. The stimulant makes it hard for us to fall asleep. So also there is one study found that uh, this effect can just affect our body clock. So overall, this side effects of excessive coffee can reduce our uh, total sleep time. So what's the solution? So introducing SleepX. So SleepX is designed with and made with the machine learning to help the coffee drinkers to get the better sleep by asking them 3 questions. So the app will ask the 3 questions like when you want to wake up, and how much you want to sleep, desired sleep duration, and the number of coffee you drink per day. So after getting the user response, I have trained the machine learning model with the core ML with the regression algorithm, and core ML will predict the actual sleep required on the basis of user response. So ideal bedtime will be the wake up time, minus the predicted actual sleep. So I will just quickly show you the demo. So here is the UI stuff, and here is the logic that uh, bedtime calculator, and here is the model. So here we take input as wake up time, estimated sleep, and copy. And these are the features, and this is the target, that is actual sleep. So I will just show you the data. So this is the data: wake up time, estimated sleep, copy, and the actual sleep. So I will just run the application. So it's uh, running on the simulator. So here is the app. So let's say I want to wake up at uh, 6 a.m. and just a minute, and I want to sleep like 7 hours. So I will just adjust my sleep here 7 hours, and I generally drink like 3 to 4 cups of coffee per day. So I will just add the pour, and after I pressing calculate, so it will suggest me the ideal bedtime for me. So in at this time I can just start winding uh, down my schedule and winding down the all things and go to the bed. So this is the idea. First, setting up the wake up time, then desired amount of sleep, then copy intake, and it will give you the your ideal bedtime. So in the end, the sleep plays very important role in our daily life. So this is the solution to improve your sleep in our day-to-day life. Thank you so much.
Is there an actual working demo of this?
Yes, yes, I just showed you the actual demo. So shall I show it again?
Yeah, maybe you can show it again. That's fine.
Okay, okay, yeah. So right, I will just move it to the another window. Okay, so is this simulator visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. So this is the UI. So in this UI I use the Lotte animations. So in if I click on this bulb icon, so it will just give you the information about the app, problem statement, and solution. And first of all, it asks for user to when do you want to wake up. So we can just add we can just set our time. Let's say I want to wake up at 5 a.m. and I want to sleep like, let's say, 8 hours. So I will just set up the desired amount of sleep, 8 hours. And I let's say I uh, drink 3 cups of coffee per day. So when I click on calculate, so it will give me the ideal bedtime that I should go to the bed at 8:10 p.m. so that I can have the actual sleep of 8 hours. So basically the problem statement is coffee or tea makes us very hard to fall asleep. So what sleepx does is it predicts the actual sleep time and it subtract from the wake up time. So we can just start winding down our schedule and go to the bed at this time.
I'm a little confused. So, like the cups of coffee that we are entering, like, am I saying that this is the like coffee that I'm drinking in the morning after waking up, or I have been drinking this throughout the day? Like, what? How is it calculating? Like, what is the logic?
So the logic is in this data we got that wake up time, estimated sleep, and copy. So basically user we take the input from the user, that is how much cups of coffee uh, user drinks per day. So according to this, like let's say if the copy let's say 4, or there is data of around 10,000 rows. So it will the predict the actual sleep using the linear regression algorithm.
But like the data that you have, like what is it encoding? Like what does the 3 cups of coffee mean? Is it the coffee that I'm drinking before I go to sleep? Is it like preparing me for the next day? I didn't understand like how to use the app.
Yeah, so let's take an example of one coder or programmer. Okay, so let's say I'm a programmer, and uh, we programmer used to drink cups of coffee per day. So let's say today I drink 4 cups of coffee throughout the day. So what coffee contains the caffeine, and this stimulant effect uh, affects our sleep, and it makes very hard to fall asleep. So what it does is, it's, let's say I want to sleep like 8 hours. So and I drink 4 cups of coffee, and so it will just predict the like our estimated sleep plus predicted sleep for due to the coffee intake.
So if I increase the number of cups of coffee, so is it going to delay the sleep or is it going to pull it up and like ask me to go to sleep earlier?
Yeah, so if I increase the coffee intake, it will ask me to just get to the bed earlier. So let's say I just increase the intake to the, let's say, 6 cups of coffee. It will tell me to the go to bed at 7:20. So previously, I think it was.
Because like if I'm drinking more coffee, then I would be less likely to be able to sleep earlier, I'm assuming. So like I didn't completely understand, but I guess like other people, if you are able to understand, I'll just skip my question. I'll just move on.
So yeah, one question, that do you really think we need machine learning for this? I see that you use linear regression for this, but did you try to research about if it can be implemented even without ML? Because I assume that for linear regression you will have a linearly increasing time, right? For example, as Mudit mentioned, that if you, let us say 10, you drink 10 cups of coffee, the model is going to say that okay, you should go to sleep at 6 p.m., which might be even more difficult. So, is there some kind of non-ML related formula that can also be used to suggest an appropriate time where someone should?
Yeah, I thought of that. So if we go to the non-ML part, so like basically, this is from this ML model is from the data that is trained with the linear regression. So basically, I thought about the linear regression is because the line between these points gives me the smallest distance and the optimistic value as a predicted value. So I gone with the linear regression. And if we go to the non-ML part, so we can just think logically. We can't just think logical that I have just let's say I have just drink more coffee today, and we can't make it practical. So we can check it in the app. So let's say I have increased the coffee intake or decreased the coffee intake. So what is my ideal bedtime? So it gives the ideal bedtime.
Got it.
So guys,
Again, the interface is great. The implementation also looks great. Thanks for presenting.
Thank you, sir.
just one question. I think, are you thinking of putting this on the App Store?
Yes, I want to add more features like background noises and wind features to wind down their schedules, or the notifications to wind down their schedules. So I really want to add the innovative features that which will focus on improving the sleep of the user.
Okay, and are there any such applications already available there?
So there is no, like, I didn't see any sleep prediction app, but there are some applications which Calm app, which helps to fall asleep with the background sounds and the music.
Cool. I just do hope that you upload this, maybe improve the algo a bit, and there are a lot of people in US who might end up buying this. That's it. So
Yeah,
best of luck, please.
yeah. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. If there are no other questions, then we can move on to the next team. Are there any questions? All right. I think there are no other questions. So thank you so much, Dhanraj, for the great demo.
Yeah,
The
thank you
next
so much.
team, yeah, thank you. So the next team we have Sarathi.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Ayush Rungta, and my project name is Sarthi. So before going on to the actual project, let me tell you what is Sarthi and why Sarthi. Like, what was the main idea behind the project Sarthi? So few days back, I was traveling to a hotel, and on my way to the hotel, so I was in a bus. So I saw an ambulance stuck in the traffic, and I could see the ambulance siren beeping, 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 but there was no vehicle who could actually give the way to the vehicle, even though the commuters or the traffic contributing vehicles wanted to give the way, but there was no actual way they could have given the way to ambulance. So I figured the the reason for it was the vehicles couldn't clear the way because they weren't aware of the ambulance vehicle approaching. So what if there was a way to actually tell the vehicles that yes, an ambulance is approaching and please clear the way? So that's how the project Sarthi came into existence, and hence the name Sarthi, the chariot of God, which is the ambulance. So let me give you an execution plan of what the project would look like. So this is a demo video. So consider an ambulance stuck in the traffic here. The ambulance is stuck in traffic, and the patient is. So let me start the main part. So this is the ambulance driver, and we'll have an Android or an iOS app wherein the ambulance driver can fetch in a location of the hospital. So suppose I fetch in a location of an hospital which is say 5 kilometers away. So I entered the hospital, say Sakra Hospital. So all the vehicle which is in that particular route will get a notification to the all the drivers that particular lane in that particular route. Suppose there would be many route. So using the Google API, will be calculating the fastest and the most efficient route. And in that particular route, in a given radius, will notify all the vehicles of an ambulance approaching so that the vehicles can clear the lane like this and the ambulance get a clear path. This is the whole gist of the project. The features being it's a centralized system. There is no external human involvement, so no chance for error. In the next slide, technical specification includes we'll be using an Arduino Pro Micro and 6M GPS module. We have developed an application using Flutter, so it's both Android and iOS. And for the feedback modules, we have for now used LEDs and buzzers, which can further be enhanced as per the requirements. This is the product overview. This is the main module which will be installed in all the vehicles in that in particularly all the vehicles which contribute the traffic. So this is the Android app. So here the ambulance driver will interface, so he can enter the destination and press go. So as soon as he press the go button, we'll have our fire database where the ambulance current location is being fetched and also the traffic contributing current location. So therein we can map whether the particular cars lie in that particular lane and in that particular say radius of 5 kilometers or 500 meters, that is yet to decide, and we can send a signal to the vehicles that please clear say lane A, lane B, or lane C. So this is the demo video of the final product. So we get a feedback here, which is a visual and a sound feedback. That was the product overview. So the main highlights being it's safe to use because we're using Google Firebase and Google Cloud Storage. It's easy to use. The driver doesn't have to know much of a technical thing. It just has to enter the end location. It's very fast. We have used our own algorithm to detect the fastest route, which is again taken by Google. And the algorithm we have developed is to whether determine a particular vehicle is in that current route. And we also have taken few feedbacks from ambulance driver, doctors, and ER heads who have given a positive feedback that yes, if this particular product will be launched in the market, it will be actually beneficial for the end users. And for the product roadmap, so currently we have edited and prototyped the product. until the November month, we are planning to go on the on ground and collect feedback from the actual personals would be using the product. And until Feb of 2022, we'll be enhancing the product because this particular module needs to be installed in the vehicle. So we'll be needing approval from government side. So until June into 2022, we'll be planning for approvals. And maybe by, if everything goes well, until August 2022, we'll be beta releasing the product. Thank you so much.
Great. So I use a few clarifying questions. The sensor, is that like you're planning that that would be installed on all the vehicles or on the ambulance?
On
I
the
didn't.
vehicles, all the vehicles, the traffic contributing vehicles. I mean, we could have used an Android app to fetch the current location, but the thing is, most of the drivers in India use their phone while driving, so there might be a network disconnectivity. So we plan to have a separate model altogether so that it doesn't interfere with what the user is currently doing.
Then this sensor would have to be connected with the network somehow, right?
Network, we could either have the Wi-Fi, then again it was not feasible, so we used a GPS GSM module. So in that, just like our mobile phone, we can have a SIM. So we'll have a pre-programmed SIM with the vehicle registration number of the vehicle. So there's no external involvement of the internet. So I say Airtel connection, it's everywhere. So we'll have tie-up with say Airtel, so they can have us a pre-programmed chip, so there's no need for external connectivity required. It will be there in the module itself.
Got it. That's all. Anyone else?
I also really, really loved the project. I researched about it a bit and saw how people are solving this problem currently, and they suggested that there can be some signals, some mechanism on the ambulance itself which can throw out radio signals, and that can inform the signal to turn green on the entire path. So I did not find your idea anywhere. So by that means, I think it was quite innovative. So wanted to understand, how did you come across this idea?
So this idea, like I said, I was traveling on the bus since I saw an ambulance stuck in the traffic. So that's when the whole idea stuck that why not have a system wherein we can inform the vehicle? Because I particularly, or my parents, when they travel, they want to give the way to the traffic, the ambulance at the back, but they can't because there's also vehicle in front of them which has to give vehicle. So there was a whole communication gap. And like you mentioned, there's a project called Trafficizer, which signals the traffic signal, which is in Hyderabad, if I'm correct, under the incubation of government of Telangana. But the main problem is they have to communicate with the traffic signal. And with traffic signal, the problem is they can't determine whether, suppose there is an, say, 300 meters length of traffic. So they have to clear that traffic to give that way to the ambulance. So there could be a jam at the signal intersection. But with my solution, there won't be such issue because there would be extra lane cleared for the vehicle. So that's how my problem is different from what Trafficizer is trying to solve and what the current solution are in market.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, Naman, please go ahead.
Yeah, have you ever thought? I mean, like, have you thought about any go-to-market approach for this? That one big issue that I see with this is it will require a majority of vehicles to embed within their car, etc., the GPS module that you are making, right? And till
Right.
the time, not a good amount of people have done that, it won't show its results. So,
Mhm.
have you considered about how might you launch it in the market? How might you persuade people to install that sensor on their car,
For
etc.? And
now,
how will
we could tie up with maybe a small township. So in townships, there are traffic intersections. So we can plan something in a small township, or say we can tie up with a small hospital in a small area, a closed control environment, wherein we can show the actual people or the government officials of the possibility of results and how it could actually save lives. So when they see the result, they are tempted, and when they actually see the result, they can realize if it's actually implemented in a city like Bangalore or Delhi or Mumbai, so it could actually save life. So maybe for starting, we could try with a small control environment, say a township or a small village or something like that.
and do you plan to charge anyone for this, or is it like a non-profit thing?
It's a non-profit thing. Thank you so
One
much.
more clarifying question. So I think you've already answered this. I just wanted to confirm. In the beginning, you had mentioned that even when the traffic on the road wants to give way to the ambulance, sometimes they're not able to. So how does the device solve that problem? I think you might have already answered this. Just wanted to confirm.
So the main aim of the project is to notify the vehicle beforehand. So suppose I'll give you example. If I am at location A and I want to go to location B, distance between A and B is 5 kilometers. So what my product will do is, so if I'm at A, so at A it will notify all the vehicles at A plus 500 meters that an ambulance is approaching. The severity of the case is this, to give it a more personal approach. So please clear a lane A or B or C. So when I reach, when I go through the distance of A plus 500 meters, all the lane will be cleared. So again, when I reach at A plus 100 meters, so I'll notify the next 500 meters. So A plus 600. So that's how the whole thing will happen, and I'll get a clear lane to the hospital.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ajis.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ayush. Definitely a really great project. And I think with that, it's sort of if anyone else has a question for Ayush from Team Sarthi.
Any feedback is also welcome.
All right, if there are no questions, yeah, I think Mudit, you want to go?
No, it's okay. I was just going to say that, like installing a new device, as Naman pointed out, could be some friction. It might make sense to just make this into an app that people can perhaps install on their phones. So something like Amber Alert, um, based on the radius or the geolocation proximity to the ambulance, perhaps just send a notification. Um, so I think you did point out that perhaps like sometimes people might not notice the alert on their phone. But I think that's just a trade-off, because like the compliance for adding a new device on their cars, like that friction could also be pretty high. But that's just my thought. I don't have any validation. I haven't spoken with customers. I don't know what the behavior would be.
I mean, I agree with your point, but like from my point of view, I did think because majority of the drivers in India do use their phone, maybe in the high volume they are blasting music, or they are using GPS for their navigation, or speaking to someone via call. So in that case, the network disturbance would be there, and even if one vehicle doesn't clear the route, it might be crucial for the ambulance to. I mean, it could hamper the ambulance reach time. So that's why we thought of implementing in other module. I mean, it's also a good suggestion. We could have an app, but yeah.
Got it. Understood. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, I think with that we sort of have come to the end of the live judging. But I hope Mudit, Arnav, Naman, and Arnav, like all of you, love the projects and would love to know about your feedback. If you just want to share something with the audience after having gone through all the projects.
Yeah, definitely. Like this was very enlightening, and thanks everyone who participated, and thanks for sharing your project with us and on YouTube. Definitely, I think this experience in itself hopefully was a learning experience. This doesn't necessarily have to be the first or last product that you work on, but over time, as you are developing more products, as you are thinking deeper, how to solve problems, as you are iterating on the existing products, as you interact with more customers and learn about how they plan to use your product or even not plan to use your product. I think just that learning in itself is invaluable. But the ideas that were presented today were phenomenal. And again, thanks for sharing these with us.
Thank you so much. Arnav or Naman, if you would also want to share.
I think pretty great set of ideas we saw, and it's always fun participating in hackathons and trying to build these things. I'm sure all of you had great experiences. Also, the people who are not in the top 10, I'm sure you have had great experiences because back in college when I used to go and participate in hackathons, I remember that at the end of the hackathon, I would realize that probably learned more about how to build things or a certain language or a certain framework in the last 24 hours than I did in the last 6 months. Every time we'd go to hackathon and have that feeling. So really happy to see so many of you participating in this hackathon, and all the best for whoever is going to be winning after the scores and all are tallied. But also all the best to everybody to keep on participating in more hackathons in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think Mudit, you wanted to go next.
Already went. Arnav or Naman, you can go next.
Yeah, so really had a lot of fun, guys, looking at the projects. Just one thing that I would like to say, having participated in so many hackathons and even trying to make my own products in college. So, got this one golden piece of advice from Arnav Bhaiya, who is also here, uh, that it's very difficult to come up with original ideas. Uh, in the world out there, everyone has access to technology, everyone has ideas. Most, if not everything, of what you do is already implemented, but you can still figure out what are the gaps, how can they still be improved, and how does it make an impact, right? So whenever coming to any hackathon or maybe trying to present next time, think, even if your idea is a repeat, just try to think how you can make your approach a bit different, how it can make things a little better than the existing solutions, and just make sure that it works. I think if you can present that, that is more than enough, and you have a good chance of winning a hackathon. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let me go next. So yeah, great ideas, everyone. Really liked going through them, going through the slides, and also discussing about the thoughts behind them. Just one thing. Normally, in a hackathon, especially in a tech hackathon, there are two hows to solve. The very first how is regarding tech, which is how to build something, right? That there is an app that I want to build. Will I use? I mean, there is an idea that I want to solve. Will I solve it using hardware? Will I solve it using software? Or will I build an Android app? Will I build a web app? That is the how part of the tech side. That, okay, how will I solve it? But there is another part, another how, which is regarding the product side, how and why. I mean, like, how will you get that product to the people, right? How will you sell that product, or how will you make people use it, which is equally important, according to me. And also, there's a close relation to it, is why are you building that particular thing. So having a good understanding of the target audience that you are trying to adjust to, the audience that you are trying to sell your product to, why do you think they will use your product, and how will you approach, or how will you bring that product to the market. Having a clarity on that, as good as the clarity on the tech side, can be a great combination to have. So in the next hackathon, etc., and like as I was seeing from the questions that the jury was asking, etc., also, that having a good clarity on the why of the product and how is that product going to be useful to the people is also going to be a great combination that you can have. So yeah, also focus upon that thing in future. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much, Naman. And yeah, I think with that, we come to closing of this live stream. The winners would be announced via email, so keep a track of that. And again, thank you so much to Mudit, Arnav, Naman, and Arnav for taking out their time and evaluating the top 10 projects. But of course, um, the hackathon journey does not really stop here for everyone who took part. First of all, again, congratulations to everyone who took part and spent their time in building projects and learning about new technologies. This is just the start of the journey for all of you. Just keep on building, keep on innovating, and keep on learning different kind of technologies and try to implement them and try to build solutions that really impact the world. And that is what is the main message. By taking part in this hackathon and for your further ventures as well. And again, make sure that to make the most of your experience at the hackathon. So definitely try to make whatever project that you build. Try to take it further. Try to implement new technologies. With it, and you know who knows, your project might actually turn out to be the next big startup idea. So with that, I'd like to again thank our career partners and the huge lovely response by our mentors as well. So thank you everyone, and of course at Scalar who made this event a huge success. With that, I'd like to conclude, and yeah, thank you so much everyone who is still watching. We are into more than 2.5 hours since the live stream has begun, and we're seeing a great response. So thank you so much for everyone for tuning in, and keep tuned for such kind of more amazing events. Thank you so much.